Hey everyone, and welcome. My name's Aaron, and today we're taking a look at the Keeley Electronics Super Bass. I'll be playing my 1993 Fender P-Bass straight into the direct input of my Vintech X73i preamp. And here is my bypassed tone. All right, so the Keeley Super Bass, formerly called the Bassist pedal. This is a compressor made specifically for bass guitar. This is one of 10 X series pedals that I read on Keeley's website. It sounded like they just kind of got a wild hair, crazy idea last part of 2018 to just make 10 of these X series pedals with these really simple graphics. Some already existing pedals with new names, such as this Super Bass, which was formerly called the Bassist, and some brand new pedals like a reverb and this rotary thing. And so just tons of fun. I've been actually wanting a bass compressor for a while. Fairly simple controls on here. On the left, compression. On the top here, we've got threshold. And on the right side, we have gain. What I find and what I like about compressors is they just kind of smooth everything out. And especially if you're recording, that is a great thing to be able to do. Now, there's a lot more things you can learn about compression. And actually, if you're curious, you should go watch this video, which I did, which is like a Compressors 101. What is a compressor? What's it doing? What are the controls? And I really am proud of this video and have gotten a lot of good comments on it as far as it helps people understand what a compressor is doing. Because compressor is one of those things that's like, I don't know, I don't really know how to set it, and whatever. And typically with guitar pedals and bass pedals, they will simplify a lot of the controls. On a studio compressor, you have attack and release and ratio and things like that. On this pedal, we've just got threshold, compression, and gain. So it's a simplified sort of interface for compression, but it's a very powerful tool that you can have in your arsenal. So this threshold is the point at which the compressor kicks in. So lower values are going to be more dramatic. As I turn this down, the compressor will kick in earlier. It will kick in on softer inputs as well as harder. And as I turn it to the right, it will only kick in on, if it gets a really heavy input to it, and not when softer inputs are given to it. This compression is kind of the severity of the compression. Once the threshold is crossed, this is basically turning up the amount that it's compressing. So how much it's kind of grabbing that signal. And then this gain is this very powerful knob over here I found. Lots of sort of gain on tap here. So you can really drastically shape your overall output with this thing. This is, if you have a severe setting, let's say I've got my threshold set really low, so it's going to kick in really soon. And then I've got my compression set really high, so it's going to, once it kicks in, which is all the time, it's going to be very harsh. When I give it some input, now the reason that's really quiet is because it's catching everything and then really just slamming it. So in order to compensate for that, I could turn up this gain. And this is a good example if you listen to this. Of a super compressed, I'm going to turn up the gain even more. And you could hear there when I stopped playing, it just raised the noise floor because basically it's turning everything up, even noise. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind with a compressor is it's going to be elevating everything. I said in that video that I referenced earlier that basically this is what a compressor does. If this is your dynamic range, this is your loudest sound, this is your softest sound. What a compressor does is it limits your overall dynamic range and then brings everything up. So it changes your dynamic range from loud sounds, soft sounds, to loud sounds, soft sounds. It brings those soft sounds up kind of to that hearable level. So the setting I kind of liked was, basically knobs kind of at noon-ish. These are very sensitive, I found, with my setup anyway. Yeah, I like it when, if you look at that LED there, the LED is lighting up red when it's compressing, and then it'll go green when it's not compressing. So, not compressing, I'm going to turn down this threshold. Now you see it's grabbing it. I'm going to turn up my gain a little bit. That's about right. So, when I hit a string like pretty hard, it sort of grabs it for about 2 seconds, and then as the decay of the natural bass dies down, it lets go of the compression. So it's kind of doing that smoothing action where it's bringing up that overall sound, but then it's compressing that super loud attack. So versus so it just kind of has that effect of rounding out, making a little bit fatter the overall kind of sound. All the notes speak sort of more equally, where if you didn't have the compressor on, maybe you're playing up high or something. Turn on the compressor. And so it kind of gives those higher notes, maybe which would be quiet or otherwise, a little bit more authority. And it kind of makes you play differently. It makes you play a little bit more confidently because the compressor is sort of smoothing out those inconsistencies in dynamics, as I mentioned. So this thing is just great. It is kind of made specifically for bass. Keeley has other compressors, the Compressor Plus and the Compressor Pro now, which also, can work on a bass. But this one, just with the internal attack, the way it attacks and releases, is sort of optimized for a bass setup. And so for somebody like me, this is absolutely perfect. This is going on my little bass board and living in there for the foreseeable future. Loving this thing. So definitely go check this one out, the Super Bass Compressor and the other X Series pedals. They're running a special right now where if you buy 4 of these, you get the 5th one free. And they're very affordable to begin with. So really fun stuff they're doing over at Keeley Electronics. Definitely let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments about this pedal or compression in general. With that, that's going to be it from me today, and we'll see you all next time.